Merry Christmas everyone, Genki here, and today we're going to try and beat Pokemon Shining Pearl with only Glaceon. Glaceon is the Ice-type evolution, so we get access to some pretty good stats. 130 base special attack versus 60 attack means we'll obviously be focusing on special moves. 65 base HP is kind of in the middle of the road, but it is complemented largely by our 110 base defense and 95 base special defense. Glaceon is thick, and thankfully so, since Ice is weak to 4 very prominent types of moves. Lastly, 65 base speed is again kind of in the middle of the road. We will outspeed a lot, but we will also be getting outsped later in the game. Glaceon being an evolution means it's not a normal stone evolution. It actually learns moves by level up. We get Icy Wind upon evolving, so we start the run with a special move with the same type attack bonus. We also get some physical ice moves, but I don't see those getting any use. We'll probably be facing Crash or Wake before level 40, so Freeze Dry might not be that useful, but we'll have to see. Lastly, getting Blizzard by level up is pretty good, but I think that means putting Hail on our moveset. The reason I'm cautious about having Hail is because of Glaceon's TM list. It gets some great type coverage. Water Pulse, Ice Beam, which will probably be our go-to ice move, Hyper Beam, Dig, Iron Tail, and Shadow Ball. Also, Glaceon gets Work Up, a move that can boost its special attack. I think this run will be easy, but not without its roadblocks. Let's go over the rules. I can only use Glaceon in battle. No items in battle, only held items outside combat are allowed. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's begin. We started the challenge in Jubilife City, where I transferred into Glaceon through Pokemon Home. I forgot to name him, and before anyone says it, no, you cannot rename traded Pokemon in this game. He's level 9, because I didn't have any rare candies to give him when standing next to the Icy Rock, so I had to battle a Pokemon to get him to evolve. He's Serious Nature, so neutral stat gains, with the ability Snowcloak. Snowcloak raises Glaceon's evasiveness by 1 in Hail, so it might not be that useful. With Glaceon at level 9, almost level 10, we have to limit the amount of trainers we face, just in case we can beat Roark before hitting Disobedience. Thankfully, there is only one required battle, and it's against Barry. Barry leads with Starly, who was a one-shot with Icy Wind. We went for Quick Attack against Chimchar, which didn't do that much, but then our resisted Icy Wind did half of Chimchar's health, so it went down the next turn. Oh, and by the way, I usually play Pokemon with animations off, because it tends to flow better with the voiceover. However, on this playthrough, I didn't realize they were still on until we were facing Roark, so if you see the animation stop, that is why. And speaking of Roark, he's our next required battle. His Geodude was a one-shot with Icy Wind. However, that boosted Glaceon to level 11, which means that he will now start disobeying us. This led to one turn of not attacking against Onix, whose Rock Throw did a little less than a third of Glaceon's health. We then landed Icy Wind the next turn, but Onix survived thanks to Sturdy. Roark then used the potion, but it didn't matter, as Glaceon refused to attack twice in a row. At least we know Geodude is a one-shot. On our next attempt, we get 2 Icy Winds in a row against Onix, but Glaceon was at only 2 HP for Roark's ace, Candice, who of course outspeeds. At level 13, we make it to Candice in yellow health, and discover it is a 2 KO Icy Wind. Now we just need to hit both times. Literally, the next attempt. Onix missed the Rock Throw, and Glaceon landed 2 Icy Winds in a row. This means we're battling Candice in green health. However, Glaceon refused to listen 3 turns in a row, as Candice lowered Glaceon's speed with Bulldoze, before switching to Headbutt. With Glaceon at only 3 HP, he finally landed an Icy Wind, taking Candice to red health. This forced Roark to use a potion, but it didn't matter. Glaceon listened and it landed a second Icy Wind, finishing off Candice, beating the Rock Gym at only level 13. Candice not having any rock moves definitely helped us there. But now it's time to head north to Jubilife City, where we can head to the Valley 1 Works to battle Commander Mars. Zubat was of course a one-shot with Icy Wind. Mars' Perugly, which normally does a lot of damage with Scratch, could not take that much damage. But then our Icy Wind did about the same amount of damage as Scratch was doing. Well, remember what I said about using physical moves? Yeah, I burned myself there. Because to beat Perugly, I taught Glaceon Rock Smash, which after one growl, still did a third of Perugly's health. After a second growl, we landed a second Rock Smash, which both got the defense drop and activated Perugly's Oran Berry. Oh, and guess what? Glaceon then landed a third Rock Smash, which got a second defense drop. And then after that, with only 10 HP to spare, Glaceon landed a fourth Rock Smash, finishing off Perugly. We're gonna have to return to Forest, and then return to City, where we have to face the second gym. Gardenia's Ruby and Turtwig were both one-shots. Her ace Roserade though, outsped, and took Glaceon to almost half health with Grass Knot. Thankfully, our Icy Wind landed, and it took Roserade to a quarter, activating its Citrus Berry. Glaceon then refused to listen, but Icy Wind's speed drop made Roserade go for Stun Spore, which missed, giving us another opportunity to go for Icy Wind, which this time landed, finishing off Roserade. With 2 badges, Glaceon will listen up to level 30. However, before we progress, I realized I missed an important TM in Jubilife, so I walked all the way back to the trainer school and picked up the TM for workup. Hopefully this will make things easier, because next is Commander Jupiter in the Team Galactic building. Her Skuntank has Flamethrower. Her lead Zubat, after one workup, was a one-shot with Ice Shard. Skuntank survived Icy Wind with YOLO health. This caused its Citrus Berry to take it back to half health. It then went for Poison Gas, so it went down the next turn. We can now go on the cycling road, into our home city, where all we have is a battle with Barry. We set one workup against Starly, who took Glaceon to almost half health with Never. It was then a one-shot. However, next is Monferno, and it outspeeds, taking Glaceon to 21 HP with Flame Wheel, as our Icy Wind took it to half health and dropped its speed. This allowed Glaceon to outspeed and take out Monferno. Weasel's next. It survived Bite with low health, but it got flinched, so it was an easy 2 KO. Last was Roselia, who was a one-shot. On to Veilstone City, where we can buy the TM for Ice Beam from the department store before challenging the gym. Against Maylene's lead Manatite, we set up 2 workups, as it set up Light Screen, and used Flash, lowering our accuracy. We didn't miss though. Also, we didn't miss against Machoke, who survived Ice Beam with a Sliver, and got frozen. Maylene then used her Hyper Potion, but we used this opportunity to set up one more workup. This way, Machoke was a one-shot. Last is Lucario, who outsped and went for Bulk Up, as we got our first miss of the battle. Its Drain Punch one-shot Glaceon. This battle took a few attempts, because Machoke was a 2 KO from a +1 Ice Beam. I decided to get Glaceon up one more level to level 29. This way, with +2 special attack, Machoke was a one-shot behind Light Screen. Lucario again started with Bulk Up, so we were able to attack, and Ice Beam is a 3 KO. Okay, thankfully, Glaceon can learn something that's super effective. Dig, which is actually on the next route. For Dig to work, we had to set up multiple workups, and I got greedy, and Glaceon set up 3, which unfortunately allowed Manatite to use 2 flashes. Thankfully, we didn't miss on Manatite or Machoke. With Glaceon at full health, Lucario went for a setup move, in this case, Screech, but with +3 attack, it was a one-shot with Dig. This leveled up Glaceon to level 31, which means he will now disobey us again. Thankfully, we only need one more badge to change the level cap to 50. The issue though is that it's the water gym, and water resists ice. Wake leads with Gyarados, who takes neutral damage from Ice Beam. However, that won't do us any good if Glaceon doesn't want to listen. I'm just going to skip to the winning attempt. Against Gyarados, we set up a workup, but we were already at half health when Glaceon finally landed his Ice Beam, which one-shot Gyarados. Quagsire was a quick one-shot, so all that is left is Fulton, who outsped and went for Brine, taking Glaceon to only 10 HP. This was looking bad. However, Glaceon listened, and one-shot Floatzel with a resisted Ice Beam. That ends our disobedience issues for the rest of the run. To go further into the story, we have to battle Barry. Starly went first, thanks to Twig Claw, but it only used Double Team, as we set up Workup. It was a one-shot with Ice Beam. Monferno though went first, and his Flame Wheel did a quarter. It also got the burn, so Glaceon's attack is now half. This caused Dig to only do half of Monferno's health. Monferno then went for Leer, as we went for Ice Beam, which finished it off. Last are Buizel and Rosalia, who were both one-shots. We can now talk to Cynthia and head towards Celestia Town, where we pick up the team for Shadow Ball, before challenging the next gym. Fantina's lead Drifblim outsped and used a weak Hex, as we set up Workup. It then used Will-O-Wisp, which was negated by a Rossberry, before he one-shot with Ice Beam. Gengar also outsped and used Confuse Ray, but Glaceon never hit himself, and one-shot Gengar with Shadow Ball. Last is Magis, who, guess what, outsped, and used Dazzling Gleam, but it didn't do that much as we one-shot it. On to Candice City, where we have another battle with Barry. He now leads with Staravia, who as we set up Workup went for Double Team. It was thankfully a one-shot the next turn. Heracross was also a one-shot, but then out came Monferno. Monferno went first, and Flame Wheel did a third, as Shadow Ball took Monferno to red health. Monferno's next Flame Wheel then took Glaceon to only 8 HP, but it went down. Rosalia was a one-shot, so last is Buizel, who outsped and finished off Glaceon with Brine. This took a few attempts, but we got a run where Monferno was a one-shot, and we made it back to Buizel in yellow health. It this time for some reason went for Tail Whip, so it was a one-shot. Time for the next gym, and this one was weird. I'm going to start with our first good attempt. Byron led with Bronzor, and that's an issue. It survived Shadow Ball and red health, allowing it to use Trick Room. This allowed Bronzor to move first, but Byron instead went for a Full Restore, as I had Glaceon set up Workup. Bronzor then went for Confuse Ray, but Glaceon never hit himself as we one-shot Bronzor. Steelix is next, and it started by setting up Sandstorm, as Glaceon's Ice Beam took Steelix to a sliver, only surviving thanks to Sturdy. Byron then uses Hyper Potion, but we hit ourselves in confusion. Thankfully, Trick Room ended this turn. Since Steelix was now back at full health, it again survived Ice Beam and hit Glaceon with Gyro Ball, which did a lot of damage. However, Byron was now out of potions, so Steelix finally went down. Last is Bastiodon, who survived a 4-time super effective dig and finished off Glaceon. It took almost an hour to finally get the winning attempt. I had Glaceon start Shadow Ball, which Bronzor survived, but this time it led with Confuse Ray. Byron used his Full Restore, but our next Shadow Ball got a high roll, taking out Bronzor. We went for Ice Beam against Steelix, who went straight for Gyro Ball, taking Glaceon to half health, activating his Citrus Berry. Steelix went down the next turn, because Byron never used a potion. This time, we went for Shadow Ball against Bastiodon, which did a third, and got the special defense drop. Bastiodon just went for Iron Defense, but it didn't matter, as our next Shadow Ball got crit, finishing off Bastiodon. Even without the special defense drop, I think Bastiodon would have still been at 3k without the crit. Now, at this point in the story, we have to investigate the lakes, but there was no issue. Cylinder was easy, and so was Mars. That means we're off to the next gym. Ice resists ice. In fact, it's its only resistance. I had Glaceon holding the spell tag to boost Shadow Ball. Against Snover, I had Glaceon set up Workups, as Snover did chip damage with Razor Leaf. It was a one-shot, so next was Medicham. It outsped, and took out Glaceon with Brick Break. Glaceon hasn't really done any grinding this playthrough, so I decided to go out and grind on Sneasels, to raise Glaceon's speed. Along the way, I found a Sneasel holding a Quick Claw. That's a 5% chance. We only grinded until level 50, before challenging the gym again. We set up 2 Workups against Snover, before one-shotting it with Ice Beam. Medicham still sadly outsped, but we survived Brick Break on 33 HP, in one shot with Shadow Ball. This spread out Sneasel, who resists Ice Beam and Shadow Ball, so we had to use Dig. It was thankfully a one shot, as was a Bomb Snow. Time to infiltrate Team Galactic headquarters, where we have our first Cyrus battle. Murkrow was a one shot with Ice Beam with 0 workups. Sneasel outsped instead of Home Claws, as I had Glaceon use Water Pulse, which we recently picked up. It took Sneasel to almost half health. Sneasel then went for Metal Claw, which got the attack boost, as Water Pulse left Sneasel in red health, activating its Citrus Berry. A third Metal Claw took Glaceon to below half health, but Sneasel went down. Last is Golbat, who was a one shot. We now have the skill Mount Cornet, but before Cyrus is a double battle against Mars and Jupiter with Barry. Jupiter's Bronzor is the one that sets up Light Screen, so I had Glaceon take it out first. This did bring out Skunktank though. I had Glaceon then set up a workup, as Skunktank's Flamethrower did a quarter of Glaceon's health. And Mars' Bronzor used Confusion on Glaceon. Skunktank was a one shot with Ice Beam, as was Jupiter's final Pokemon Golbat. Meanwhile, Barry's Munchlax had gotten Mars' Bronzor down to a quarter. We finished it off with Shadow Ball. This spread off Perugly, who outsped and used Body Slam on Glaceon, taking him to yellow health. Glaceon then unfortunately hit himself, but Munchlax's Body Slam did a third to Perugly. It went down to Ice Beam. Last is Mars' Golbat, who was a one shot. On to the second Cyrus battle. Against Honchkrow, we set up 2 workups, as Honchkrow used Defog and got a crit with Steel Wing, taking Glaceon to low green health. It was a one shot with Ice Beam, as was Gyarados, but next is Weavile. Weavile went first, and its Metal Claw took Glaceon to almost a third. But Glaceon's Water Pulse took Weavile to below half health. A second Metal Claw then left Glaceon in the red, but Weavile went down. Last is Crobat, who also outsped, and its Cross Poison left Glaceon on only 7 HP, but it was a one shot. With the world saved, it's off to the last gym. Raichu went first, and got a crit Volt Switch, switching into Ambipom as we set up workup. Ambipom went for its priority Fake Out, which flinched Glaceon. However, it didn't miss its double hit. It was a one shot. Raichu's back, and it again did big damage with Volt Switch before switching in Octillery, who survived Ice Beam red health. I had Glaceon set up a second workup against Octillery, but it just went for Focus Energy, so it went down the next turn, despite Volkner's Hyper Potion. Raichu's back again, and it's gone again. This sends out Volkner's ace, Luxray, who was a one shot. All that is left is Raichu, who left Glaceon on only 6 HP, but it was a one shot. That was close. We cannot earn the Pokemon League, but first is about Barry. Barry's lead Staraptor has a Focus Sash, so it survived Ice Beam. This allowed it to do almost half of Glaceon's health in close combat before going down. Next is Infernape, who outsped and finished off Glaceon. I knew our speed would be the death of us. Time to grind. A few levels later, at level 70, Staraptor went for U-turn, switching into Infernape. With Glaceon in green health, he survived close combat, but only with 20 HP. Infernape, however, was a one-shot with Water Pulse. Barry then brought back out Staraptor, who was at 1 HP, so it was a quick KO with Water Pulse. This then brought out Snorlax, who survived Ice Beam in green health. It did get frozen though, so I used this opportunity to have Glaceon set up 2 workups. Ice Beam now took Snorlax to a 5th, and it was still frozen, so it went down the next turn. Heracross was a one shot, but next is Floatzel, who got a quick claw activation. We were definitely only able to get that far thanks to the freeze on Snorlax. Level 73, while holding the leftovers, Ice Beam got a freeze on Staraptor, allowing us to set up 3 workups before taking it out with Water Pulse. We dodged Infernape's close combat thanks to Friendship, so we one-shot it while still in full health. Snorlax survived our plus 3 Ice Beam with a quarter health, but it went for Yawn. It went down the next turn, but now we're asleep against Heracross. A single Rock Slide took Glaceon to half health, but thankfully, we had passive healing. Also, we had max friendship, which allowed us to dodge Glaceon's second rock slide. After only 2 turns of sleep, Glaceon woke up and took out Heracross. This brought back Volkner, who again got a quick activation, but with Glaceon green health, Byron did almost nothing, so Volkner went down. Last is Roark, who was a one-shot. Time for the Elite Four, starting with Aaron. We set up one worker against Dustox, who set up Light Screen. Instead of setting up more, I decided to stall out the Light Screen, only using Ice Beam once, before switching to our weaker Water Pulse and Shadow Ball. With Black Sludge for passive healing and Moonlight, it took 4 attacks to take out Dustox. Dustox only went for Bug Buzz, which did nothing thanks to the leftovers. Also, we took out Dustox in just enough turns to end Light Screen. Heracross, Beofly, and Vespiquen were all one-shots. Aaron's ace Drapion though outsped, but its Night Slash wasn't that scary, since Glaceon was still at full health. I had Glaceon switch to Water Pulse to save on Ice Beam power points. It left Drapion at 1/4 health, but Drapion the next turn went for its weaker Cross Poison, so it went down. Next is Bertha. With 0 setup, Quagsire and Sudowoodo were one-shots. Golem survived thanks to Sturdy, but Glaceon was still in green health after Golem's Heavy Slam. Bertha did spam potions at Golem, but it was no use. It eventually went down. Wishcash was also 2 KO, but we dodged Bulldoze thanks to friendship. This meant we were back to almost full health for Bertha's ace, Hippowdon, who was a one-shot with Ice Beam. That's the easy Elite Four members done. Next is Flint. Rapidash went first and went for Iron Tail, as we went for Water Pulse, which Rapidash survived in red health. Knowing Flint would use his 4-store, I had Glaceon use Work Up. Rapidash then finally went for Hypnosis, which we dodged thanks to friendship. Glaceon was holding a Chesto Berry by the way. Rapidash was now a one-shot. Lopunny, Steelix, and Drifblim were all also one-shots, so all that is left is Infernape. Glaceon dodged close combat thanks to friendship. Our Water Pulse taking Infernape to 1 HP, breaking its Focus Sash. Friendship OP, please nerf. With Infernape at 1 HP, Flint used his second 4-store, but with no Focus Sash, Infernape was now one shot. Last on the Elite Four is Lucian. We start by setting Roark up against Mr. Mime, who set up Light Screen. This caused Shadow Ball to still leave Mr. Mime green health, but Mr. Mime just set up Reflect. Our next Shadow Ball left Mr. Mime on a sliver, but Mr. Mime's Psychic didn't do that much damage. I knew Lucian would go for his 4-store, so I had Glaceon set up a second workup. Shadow Ball now took Mr. Mime to a 3rd, so it went down the next turn. Next is Machamp, who we outsped in one shot. Alakazam, not surprisingly, outsped Glaceon, and used Nasty Plot, but it was a one shot. Mr. Mime's Light Screen now ended, so no surprise, Girafarig was a one shot, and so was Lucian's Ace Bronzong. Finally, it's time for Cynthia. We start with the workup, as Spiritomb's Dark Pulse did 1/4 of Glaceon's health. It was a one shot with Ice Beam, but next is Lucario. Lucario outspeeds, and its Aura Sphere took Glaceon straight to 31 HP. Our Shadow Ball then left Lucario in red health, so we went down. I'm going to grind a few levels so that Lucario is a one shot. Oh, and here's a more entertaining flip battle. Rapidash started with Hypnosis, which activated because I forgot to equip a Chesto Berry. After 3 turns of sleep, we woke up a separate workup. Rapidash this whole time had been spamming Iron Tail, which had now taken Glaceon to below half health. Thankfully we had leftovers. Rapidash went down to Water Pulse. The rest of Flint's team was the same, so we're going straight to Infernape. With Glaceon at 3/4 health, he survived close combat with 9 HP to spare, allowing him to again 2-shot Infernape. Okay, back to Cynthia. We again set up one workup against Spiritomb, but for some reason, Lucario went for Nasty Plot, as Shadow Ball took it to red health, and got the special defense drop. Cynthia then used her 4-store, but Lucario was a one-shot. Gastron is next, and it survived Shadow Ball on a sliver. Its Skull didn't do that much damage though. I knew Cynthia was going to use her second floor store, so I had Glaceon set up a second workout. This made Gastrodon a one-shot. Roark did do a chunk of damage with Sludge Bomb, but it was a one-shot. My Galactic though survived Shadow Ball at half health, which allowed it to use Mirror Code. But Glaceon survived the hit on 1 HP thanks to Friendship. Oh my god. A crit Ice Beam finished off my Galactic. Last is Garchomp, and we only have 29 HP. Garchomp of course went first, and used Dragon Claw. But Glaceon again survived the hit on 1 HP, allowing him to go for Ice Beam and one-shot Garchomp. That was ridiculous, but I'll take it. We beat Pokemon Shining Pearl with only Glaceon. Thank you to everyone who watched this video, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe.